Ukraine struck two strategic facilities in southeastern Zaporizhzhia region this week, General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on Thursday. The Ukrainian Armed Forces launched a successful strike on the unnamed drone control point of Russian Army's 503rd Motorized Rifle Division in Zaporizhzhia region on February 26, the General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces reported. Located in the village of Nesteryanka, the military facility was used by the 19th Motorized Rifle Division of the 58th Russian Army to control, store and service UAVs. On the same day, the General Staff reported striking a residential building that was being used as a command post and a drone base by Russian troops in Zaporizhzhia region. The attack that was launched on Tuesday targeted the 1429th Russian motorized regiment that used to terrorize Ukrainian residents, the General Staff said. The command of Ukrainian Air Forces stressed that the strikes on Russian military targets will continue until the withdrawal of Russian invasion forces from Ukrainian territories. The Ukrainian Air Force has once again struck a Russian military compound in the Kursk region of Russia. Ukrainian telegram channels reported this. A MiG-29 fighter jet struck a house where Russian military personnel were gathered in the border area with the Bryansk region of Russia with a French-made AASM-250 Hammer aerial bomb, which is known for its accuracy. As a result, the house was blown up and the military personnel inside were killed. According to the information, various communication devices and radio-electronic warfare equipment stored in the house were also damaged. It should be noted that Ukrainian aviation regularly carries out precise strikes on the places where Russian military personnel are gathered in the Kursk region. It is said that the strikes were mainly carried out with AASM-250 Hammer aerial bombs. As a result, a large number of Russian and North Korean military personnel in the area were killed. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday hailed the start of a renewed dialogue with the U.S., saying that the administration of President Donald Trump showed a pragmatism, a realistic view, and noting that it had abandoned the stereotypes and messianic ideological clichés of its predecessors. The first contacts with the new U.S. administration encouraged certain hopes, Putin said at a meeting with top officials of the Federal Security Service, Russia's top domestic security agency. There is a mutual readiness to work to restore relations and gradually solve a colossal amount of systemic strategic problems in the global architecture, he said. According to Associated Press, he hailed the Russian troops fighting in Ukraine, saying that their courage and resilience had created the conditions for the beginning of talks on a peaceful settlement. He added that the resumption of U.S.-Russian contacts vexed many in Europe and emphasized that Russian diplomats and security agencies should focus their efforts on resisting attempts to derail U.S.-Russian talks.
Первые контакты с новой американской администрацией вселяют определенные надежды. Есть встречный настрой работать на восстановление межгосударственных отношений. Но постепенное решение колоссального объема накопившихся системных стратегических проблем в мировой архитектуре. А именно эти проблемы в свое время спровоцировали и украинские, и другие региональные кризисы. Важно, что наши сегодняшние партнеры демонстрируют прагматизм, реальный взгляд на вещи. Отказываются от многих стереотипов, так называемых правил и мессианских идеологических клише своих предшественников, которые, собственно, и привели к кризису всей системы международных отношений. Сегодняшние динамичные изменения в международном ландшафте – это в огромной степени результат мужества и стойкости наших вооруженных сил, наших героев. Именно они своей доблестью, своими ежедневными победами создали условия для начала серьезного диалога. Понимаем, что не всех устраивает возобновление российско-американских контактов. Часть западных элит по-прежнему настроена на сохранение нестабильности в мире. И эти силы будут пытаться сорвать или скомпрометировать начавшийся диалог. Мы это с вами видим. Нам нужно это учитывать и использовать все возможности дипломатии и специальных служб для срыва подобных попыток.
Thursday's talks between Russia and the US will be first in a series of consultations, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said at her weekly news briefing. We expect that today's meeting will be the first in a series of such expert consultations that will bring us and the American side closer to overcoming the differences that have arisen, strengthening confidence-building measures, and so on, Zakharova said. According to Associated Press, Russian and U.S. diplomats met in Istanbul on Thursday to discuss ways to normalize the operation of their respective embassies after rounds of diplomats' expulsions in the past years. Last week's U.S.-Russian talks in Riyadh marked an extraordinary shift in Washington's foreign policy under Trump and a clear departure from U.S.-led efforts to isolate Russia over its war in Ukraine. In Riyadh, Moscow and Washington agreed to start working toward ending the war and improving their diplomatic and economic ties. That includes restoring staffing at embassies, which in recent years were hit hard by mutual expulsions of large numbers of diplomats, closures of offices, and other restrictions. Speaking about the US-Ukraine minerals deal, Zakharova called it a new kind of slavery. They are selling Ukrainian minerals, both explored, and the soils that are now being exported, and those that seem to be there, or maybe are there, or there is an understanding that they may be there. Do you understand? That's what it is. This is simply a new kind of slavery, which is now being experimentally tested on Ukraine and its people by Western so-called curators, Zakharova said.
Мы рассчитываем, что сегодняшняя встреча станет первой в череде подобных экспертных консультаций, которые приблизят нас с американской стороной к преодолению возникших разногласий, укреплению мер доверия, ну и так далее. Еще раз хотел бы подчеркнуть, мы будем комментировать по мере поступления информации, но работы у экспертов огромное количество. Главным раздражающим фактором является то, что эти контакты были абсолютно заблокированы. Вы же помните, переговоры не велись никаким образом, ни очно, ни по телефону, ни на уровне глав внешнеполитических ведомств, ни на уровне экспертов. Не встречались наши делегации на площадках международных организаций. Вот вам и ответ на вопрос, как они распоряжаются своими будущими поколениями. Они продают недра Украины, и разведанные, и почвы, которые сейчас вывозятся, и те, которые вроде как и есть, или может быть есть, или есть понимание, что они могут быть там. Понимаете? Вот что это такое. Это просто такое новое рабство, которая сейчас в экспериментальном порядке отрабатывается на Украине, ее народе, западными так называемыми кураторами.